Mr. Hartman, if you want to pull that back, you can sit in there. It is not his backrest. There you go. All right, are we all here? Awesome. Well, welcome. I know this has been a pretty stressful morning for some of the 8th graders because this is big. You put in a lot of work. Just to explain to all of you the work that they put into this, the second Monday in March, they found out what their topic was going to be. No one ever finds out before that time, so when you're in 8th grade, that's when you'll find out. They very quickly had their teams put together. Not one of them got to choose which team that they were on. Not one of them got to choose what side of the topic that they were on. It was all chosen for them. So what that does is even if you believe something, if you are on the other side, you have to defend that side. You have to do the research and do the work and convince the audience of what it is you're supposed to be debating. So that's not an easy task. The other part of this whole thing is they have a pretty difficult topic. It's a topic that is debated across our government, and it's oligopolies. And they are going to explain to you what an oligopoly is. I won't do that right now. They had shown some interest in the idea of monopolies back in the turn of the century, and from 1800s to 1900s, there was an issue with monopolies, and they'll explain that as well. And that's what led us to this topic. And it's a topic that is very, very close to all of you, and you don't even know it. And they will explain that as well. So what we did as a group is we created 5 deeper questions to go into, 5 debate questions, and we did that as a class. So there are opening statements, there are the 5 different questions, and then closing statements. There are also rebuttals. And what a rebuttal is when you get the chance as a speaker to say something to defend yourself or to prove something else toward and against the other team. That means that they are listening closely, they're writing notes, and they're figuring out what they can actually rebut, which is another skill that they've been working on. So, the way this will run today is we are hoping to get through the opening statements and at least the first 2 or 3 arguments. The arguments are numbered on your score sheets, but I put them all in order so that you know who's speaking when. And what you're to do is to give them a 1 to a 4 scale, 1 being beginning, 2 being developing, 3 being proficient, and 4 being exceeding. Are there any questions before we begin? I've given you a sheet that has all the questions on it. So if you don't remember the question and you want to make sure that they're on track, you have a sheet that tells you what question they're doing. Yes, sir.
What is the organization? Is that like
how organized their argument is? Thank you. That's a great question.
Clarity
is how clear they're speaking, how clearly they're delivering their argument, and how clear their arguments are. Okay, if you have to kind of go, what do they mean by that? I think I get it. That means it's probably not totally clear. Hello? Yes. It's on Facebook. Okay. So, any other questions? That was a great question. Everybody else is feeling good? 4th grade, I don't have you doing the scoring because this is your first time watching the debate. So I just want you to be able to enjoy the debate. Alrighty? Jackson, how about you come on over here, just so you can actually see the students. And Maya, they'll be able to stare right at you. Alright. Okay, so our first, can you pass me your computer? So our first opening statement is from Team 3. Yes? No. 2. Sorry. Team 2. And that is Vienna Wild. Do I just start? You do.
Yeah, this is the introduction for my team, which is the entertainment industry. Although all industries advertise that they are beneficial to the consumer, that they offer much to the consumer, it is often exaggerated to benefit the industry itself. In terms of the most beneficial and the amount of services and products offered to the consumer, the entertainment industry does the most by far in giving the consumer the benefit. The entertainment industry can provide much more than just entertainment within their industry. Although we may only think of top streaming services such as Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, and Hulu, there are actually more than 200 streaming services available. A quote said by 35 streaming service statistics for 2023 deep dive into video and music streaming. In the United States alone, the creative economy employs over 2.4 million people, from special effects technicians to writers to editors to set builders, etc., in which the industry pays a total of $186 billion in wages. The Motions and Pictures Association reported that when a movie or television show shoots on a location, it brings jobs, revenue, and related infrastructure development, providing an inadvertent boost in local economy. Our industry pays out $21 billion to more than 260,000 businesses in cities and small towns across the country. As much as $250,000 can be injected into local economies per day when a film shoots at a location. In some cases, popular films and television shows can boost tourism. In every place where a TV show and or film is shot, the general tourism rates grow a very large amount. For example, Dubrovnik, Croatia is a town in which played the standing King's Landing for the television series Game of Thrones. The town gained so much tourism from viewers and fans that it helped the town out of a tough recession, which is an economic decline. The town gained so much popularity that they were suffering from overcrowding. There are many more examples of this around the world. This is just one. Although films can have massive impacts on tourism, they can also have impacts on society in a variety of ways. Since the beginning of filmmaking, the industry has impacted the world in many ways, whether it is by raising awareness and or normalizing social issues, thus changing the mind of people regarding urban topics. It has also exposed people to different cultures' perspectives and it has made people experience different emotions. These film impacts can be expressed in many different ways without the overall meaning of the film stated. For example, take the movie Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up, which is a controversial satire that tells the story of two astronomers who must go on a giant meteor tour to warn mankind about an approaching comet that will destroy planet Earth, reaching a global audience. Although this film is a bit of a comedy, it doubles as an analogy for climate change and how if we don't take action now, it will soon affect us. This is, again, just one example of films that have impacted the world in a positive way. But it's not only in movies where we can find impacts on society, but also through music. A quote from How Does Music Affect Society says, "Music as a culture right may aid in the promotion and protection of other human rights. It can also help the healing process and dismantling of walls and boundaries, reconciliation and education. Around the world, music is being used as a vehicle for social change and bringing communities together. Music has the power to connect and influence with people in ways that feel fundamentally different from other forms of communication. Many resort to music to find connections with others and or express themselves. Many think that music and other forms of entertainment are categorized under a monopoly, but this actually isn't true. In reality, oligopolies haven't been around for that long. It's been monopolies that have been around since before the U.S. became the country we know today. By definition, a monopoly is a company that dominates an industry, causing a lack of competition within said industry. Monopolies cause a situation in a free market due to the fact that the monopolistic company will have a great deal of unfair advantages, such as the power to set prices, quality, and quantity of its goods or services. In 1890, the Sherman Antitrust Act was passed, making monopolies illegal. When monopolies were made illegal, people and company owners found loopholes and decided to create oligopolies. Oligopolies became a permanent structure back in the 1900s. Oligopolies started for two reasons. One was because monopolies were made illegal, and the other was because some companies realized they could make more money working with their competitor than they could work alone or against them. A combination of barriers to entry that create monopolies and product definition that create monopolistic competition can create the setting for an oligopoly. For example, when a government grants a patent for one invention, it may create a monopoly. When the government grants a patent to, for example, 3 different pharmaceutical companies, each with its own drug to reducing high blood pressure, these 3 firms may become an oligopoly. Although the entertainment industry is categorized as an oligopoly, the entertainment industry is the least harmful to the consumer compared to both the other industries. In the entertainment industry, there are a variety of places where a customer can watch TV or listen to music. In the entertainment industry, there are more than 200 streaming services available to the consumer, and more than 100 music apps or streaming things that a customer can choose from. The entertainment industry giving a consumer a variety of choices to choose from proves that the entertainment industry is the least way gone. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is from Team 1, and that is Mesa Long.
Okay, so oligopolies have existed ever since markets and industries have existed. Because with any form of business or company, an oligopoly follows. A term more familiar to people is a monopoly. A monopoly is where one major business or firm has total or more than 50% control over that industry in the market. It is almost impossible for other businesses or firms to join in a monopoly because of how much power and control that one company has over the market. In a monopoly, there is no competition. This is because the single company is in control over that industry in the market, and it leaves no room for other companies to even compete. This can lead to that business taking advantage, not feeling the need to lower prices for customers, nor better quality, because this company is the only option for consumers. Monopolies became an issue because of the harm caused towards the consumers. Since they have the ability to control the prices and the quality, and it also affects people who need jobs. But the industry only has that one company for jobs, so there are very little options. Since monopolies became a large issue, they were outlawed and restrictions were put on companies. As stated in the article Sherman Antitrust Act 1890 from the website National Archives, approved July 2nd, 1890, the Sherman Antitrust Act was the first federal act that outlawed monopolistic business practices. The Antitrust Act put a stop to companies that are running in a monopolistic fashion so they do not become too powerful over the market, economy, or consumers. The aspects that separates an oligopoly from a monopoly is the part where an oligopoly has a few major firms or companies, which lets it slide through the Antitrust Act, so it's like a loophole. An oligopoly is almost impossible for new firms to join the industry as well because of how much control the large industries already have. Since oligopolies are supposed to have some form of healthy competition to prevent them from becoming a monopoly. The competition keeps the economy and market stable because the prices are constantly changing and no collusion is happening, which collusion is when the consumer ends up harmed because collusion is when the companies work together and they adjust prices so they maximize the benefits for themselves. An example of an oligopoly can be seen from a video I watched named Economics Online. So say there are two airline companies and a healthy competition, they are dependent on each other for failure or success. Say one airline lowers or raises ticket prices, the other airline will adjust their prices so they themselves will maximize their benefits. This is a form of healthy competition, keeping the prices in check, which also continues to prevent harm from the consumers. Another example could be where one airline raises the quality and so does the other, always trying to one-up the other. This keeps everything stable, but the oligopolies can become unhealthy for the economy and market and consumers. They become unhealthy when they collude or join together. They do this to get maximum profit out of their consumers, and they do not care about the harm they are causing to the consumers. This makes it so no matter where the consumer goes, everyone has the same high prices and the same low quality or not the best quality that could be out there. Oligopolies can be harmful, healthy, or harmful depending on how they run, but when they are unhealthy, the only person benefiting from it is the companies. Out of the three main industries, entertainment, social media, and services, the service industry is the least detrimental to the consumer. This industry has benefits that outweigh the harm, making it the least harmful oligopolistic industry. Some well-known services include airlines, automotive, electric companies, grocery stores, oil companies, etc. All of these services are oligopolies and have their issues, but they have benefits the people need or that help them with their daily lives. Unlike many aspects of entertainment or social media, where those can be seen more as wants rather than necessities. For instance, although airlines can have high prices, they are one of the main sources for transportation as well as the automobile industry. People need these services to get around daily for transportation, to get to jobs, to get to family, to travel. So the automotive industry provides cars, trucks, any kind of automobile. That's just the main source of how people travel. Grocery chains are also beneficial to many people. This is because this is how many people get groceries for their everyday life. There are not many local grocery stores, but there are many stores like Hannaford's or Walmart where people get their main source of food. But Disney and Facebook, which control the majority of the industry, causes harm to their control over prices and what happens in the company and how it functions. With these all, that they are both extremely popular and for fun, for entertainment, posting feeds and just having fun on social media and entertainment. These are not essentials for people to be able to function daily. While they are fun and they enjoy them, they own such a majority of the industry and have such power. They control prices and products, so there are minimal options outside of those companies. Every industry is an oligopoly, whether it was intended or not. It is the natural way when big companies grow. This has existed for the longest time and has stayed the same, even though companies change sizes and sizes change. There's always companies that will take over the majority of the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, our last opening statement is from Dustin Reed and Team 3.
As of July 2nd, 1980, monopolies were outlawed. It wasn't until 10 years later the first oligopoly was the automotive market and steel market, as said by Gordon Marshall. In the 1900s, several large companies dominated the U.S. automotive and steel industries were the first oligopolies. As said in the quote, I was talking the first oligopolies, which were the steel industry and the automotive industry. Some of the reasons why the government made monopoly illegal is because there's no competition between companies. So instead of one company owning all the steel, it'd be a bunch of different companies. This now leads me to the topic, social media. Social media has gone really popular in the last 19 years, with more companies joining the market. Social media has been getting more popular every year that goes by. More people are starting to use social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram. These are only a few of the popular social media companies. Social media has a lot of companies that have over 1 billion users. There's even more that has over 100 million users. There are over 20 social media platforms that have over 100 million users. Some of these social media platforms are not from America. They're more popular in Asia. For example, QQ is popular in Asia, as said by Shavinder Singh. Monthly active users 639 million. Another Asian applicant on the list. QQ offers calling and messaging along with watching movies and shopping online. The social network was created by WeChat's founding company Tencent. As said in the quote, QQ is popular in Asia, and this is one of the more popular Asian social media platforms. Popular social media platforms are not all in America, but are popular in other countries like Asia. Oligopolies are everywhere in the world. They can mean entertainment like streaming platforms, or they can mean grocery chains. These are some examples of oligopolies. Oligopolies can be everywhere. Oligopolies can cost people money depending on how they use. How can my industry be or is pricing excessive use? How has it benefited the consumer each way? This argument can be defended in many ways. For example, social media doesn't cost the user anything. It can help with small businesses if they're posting ads on social media. This will talk more about later. How have the other oligopolies created issues with demand and product services? The other teams have a lot of effect on the demand for each of the products and prices. For example, Apple doesn't give all of its technology. They only give a little bit of it each time. These are some of the things that I will talk about in argument. How can my industry not be an oligopoly, or if it is, how has it been helpful to consumers? Social media has been an oligopoly because in definition of an oligopoly is a market dominated by a few companies. And social media has well over 20 social media platforms, as I've said before. This is some of the information that Archie will talk about when he's doing his argument. These are only a few of the arguments that are going to happen. Now for the rest, there are two more arguments. How the other arguments are, how have the other industries worked towards serving themselves, and how closely resembling monopolistic markets in competition. How are the other industries practice collusion? How has this affected consumers in the United States as a whole? Companies work for themselves to make more money for their company. For example, Amazon is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they don't pay their workers enough for how much they make a year. So in some cases, Amazon pays their workers minimum wage. Depending on the state, this can be pretty low. These are some of the things that we'll talk about from early on. How has your industry service ensured health and safety for the consumer, and how has the others created shared loopholes that they are not accountable for the well-being of consumers? Social media has helped people get through tough times because social media can shift people's stories and can bring awareness to current events and natural disasters along with pressing news. This is some of the information that I'm going to talk about. Along with these two arguments, and the other three I've talked about, these are some of the points that are in these arguments. Social media has gained a lot of popularity in the last 19 years, with the first social media platform being MySpace. Since then, social media has grown a lot, with more than 20 companies dominating the market. Monopolies are where it all started. What I mean that as I said before, monopolies were before oligopolies. And the reason why they banned monopolies is because monopolies were dominating the market, and other companies cannot join because there's only one company. So the government banned them, and then became oligopolies. With this information, I hope you can understand why social media is not an oligopoly, and along with this information, if you're not sure with my information, my group will explain why social media is not an oligopoly.
Thank you. So we're going to start with the first argument. And it is, how has my industry not been an oligopoly? And if it has, how has it been helpful and beneficial to the consumer? Our first speaker is Archer Irwin.
An oligopoly is a few major companies or businesses that run most of the industry. In the service and entertainment industries, there are many instances of oligopolies. But if an oligopoly is viewed as companies that run the industry, social media has shown it's not an oligopoly, along with the fact that social media has been helpful to consumers in various ways that our competitors haven't been. Social media has a lot of competition, which makes social media not an oligopoly. Social media has 19 networks made in the United States alone with over 100 million or more users, and there are 14 different companies that own these networks, while there are around 30 in the world owned by 24 different companies. While streaming, there's only 3 networks in the United States and 5 streaming networks worldwide with over 100 million active users. Not to mention, the average person has around 7 social media apps on their phone, on their device. The service industry is an oligopoly too. One example is phones. In the United States, iPhone owns 58% of the phone market, and Samsung owns 28%. Also going along with phones, there are phone plans. In 2022, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile dominated 70% of the USA's phone plan market. Even if social media is an oligopoly, it has more competition in both service and streaming industries while being helpful to most of their consumers. Social media helps the consumers in many ways. First, social media allows people to connect with their friends. As the Pew Research Center stated, social media plays a critical role in connecting teens to new friends, allowing teens to learn more about new friends and get to know them better. Another way social media helps the consumers by giving small businesses exposure to their through their networks. Social media allows small businesses to post ads and videos to the public. This lets those small businesses expose their business to the public, which can increase sales for them. Also, social media like Instagram and Snapchat, in between stories, promote small businesses that they think you'd be interested in. For example, if someone were to search up a sports player on Instagram, they'd see ads while swiping or scrolling varying from sports pendants to jerseys and equipment. In most of the ads from small businesses, as the article, the most surprising small business social media statistics and trends in 2023 said, in 2021, 91% of small businesses were using social media, a significant increase from 86 in 2020. 63% report that efforts have been successful. As can be seen in this example, social media is very helpful to consumers that own small businesses. Lastly, social media can help people find new interests. Social media allows people to connect with people other than their friends on common interests. For example, TikTok. Anyone can post things about sports, fashion, gaming, etc. The other two industries do not help the consumer. The streaming industry is not helpful to consumer, as Blake Morgan from Forbes stated. The average cable package, TV and internet, in America is $217.42 per month. The average household spends $205.50 per month on all major utilities combined, including electricity, gas, water, and sewage, and garbage. This is an example of overpricing. Many people can't afford to have the internet to provide for a family from buying food and paying other types of bills. To add on to this, many kids need the internet to be able to do school assignments. Social media helps with the consumer in many ways, different ways that the service and entertainment industries don't. Entertainment and service entertainment services work together to make it hard to get services that are basically a necessity. Social media is helpful to the consumer and isn't an oligopoly. Services and entertainment make it hard for a consumer to get what they need. Social media is free for people to use. Entertainment is run by a small number of companies in the world. They only have 5 entertainment companies worldwide with over 100 million active users, while social media has over 30. And phone services are basically ran by Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Social media is helpful to many consumers, and unlike service and entertainment industries, which most part of the industries are only run by a few, social media is not an oligopoly, and it's helpful to consumers.
Our next speaker for this question will be Nova from Team 2.
The entertainment industry benefits its consumers. The site salary.com states you would probably earn around $30,000 per year if you were in the entertainment industry. However, if you were to become a movie producer or director, then your salary could reach up to $100,000. This would mean the entertainment industry gives people jobs and money. The entertainment industry employs 4,809,711 people. People with no access to entertainment have poor mental health and then compared to those who are able to afford streaming services. First up, the entertainment industry has a lot of different choices from different companies that own different parts of the entertainment industry. Although this is not the case with social media and the Meta company. Meta owns Facebook, which is the first big social media site, and then it's WhatsApp, and the third is Instagram. The total user count from those 3 social media sites is about 6.96 billion, all owned by Meta. The entertainment industry has HBO, which is owned by the Warner Bros., and then Disney Plus owned by Disney, and then Netflix owned by Netflix Inc. This shows that the entertainment industry is owned by many different companies. That info shows that the entertainment industry is not an oligopoly. Secondly, the help that the entertainment gives their consumers and customers. Firstly, TV could act as a catalyst for learning life lessons, just like books and other forms of teaching, and how to act around your family and friends. Television watching doesn't have to be passive. It can pique questions and curiosity and nurture or teach activities to pursue. Television has been proven to help with development of children at a young age. It opens up new ways for people to think and it provides perspective. It also teaches kids to have manners and be respectful. This media says a the media representative says, without entertainment, one can just get stuck to mainstream news and miss out on life. This means that if there was no entertainment, there would be no fun, and people's emotions could change in a bad way. Music is a part of the entertainment industry. People have been proven to stimulate memory. In an article on North Shore, take the 11th harmonic, for example. According to the National Institute of Health, in Virgo studies have demonstrated that tumor-specific frequencies identified in patients with various forms of cancer are capable of blocking the growth of tumor cell tissue in tumor-specific fashion. People who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, can often benefit from listening or creating music as a part of the treatment. Patients have responded well to music therapy for PTSD. In a clinical setting, it is a positive healthcare technique. As well, studies have also supported using music therapy as a treatment for depression and other psychological disorders. Music has been proven to make blood flow faster and make the brain produce dopamine, which is the chemical that lets you feel pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation. It can also help with physical fitness. While listening to music, it can help with working out or jogging. As can be seen, the entertainment industry is capable of not only providing an enjoyable experience, but also a healing experience. I believe that the entertainment industry has been helping families and people heal and bond for decades. Thank you.
And our final speaker on this topic is Caitlin Doe, Team 1.
When we think of an oligopoly, we almost always assume that it has a negative effect. However, in the service industry, it can help the consumer. People need jobs such as in grocery stores, so having higher prices can benefit the people who do these jobs, that they need the money to provide for their families. Same as in airlines. People need the employment to provide for themselves and their families. Being helpful to the consumer can help businesses expand and help the economy grow. Services are an oligopoly because they utilize high prices, ad use, and employment to help the economy and consumers. Traveling has never been easier in modern times. Now with airplanes and cars everywhere, it's hard not to travel. To start, the airlines help the consumer by creating worldwide jobs. It also generates economic growth, international trade, and tourism. In modern times, helping consumers and the people of the country are endless by creating employment in many ways. Since helping the consumer is the way to get more profit and more consumers, while getting trades is a big part of the U.S., taking the boat isn't the most time efficient. The average time on a boat from China to the U.S. takes about 14 to 28 days. Flight time from China to the U.S. takes about 8 to 10 days, which is significantly faster than shipping a container over a boat. So airlines are helping the economy and the consumers by getting items that the U.S. can't provide without the other countries. This can help explain how airlines aren't harmful for the economy and consumers. Phones have a really big impact on today's economy. Streaming services and phone carriers combine. So when you buy a new phone from a phone carrier, they offer someone to sign up for these streaming services. So consumers are being pushed to try these streaming services for no reason. So streaming services are taking advantage of people changing companies and buying new phones, which poorly helps the consumers. Verizon and AT&T may be categorized as oligopolies because Verizon and AT&T and two other well-known U.S. companies own about 95% of the U.S. cellular market. However, their competitive pricing allows the consumer to benefit. Lowering the prices in competition with each other allows the consumer to select the best and more affordable price plan for them. In fact, many companies use this tactic to have the best prices to serve the best for consumers. Phones are a big part of people's day-to-day lives. Most people would say that they couldn't live without their phone. So to use your phone, you need a phone carrier. There are about 4 main phone carriers in the U.S. currently: Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. Each one has their own prices, plans, strategies, add-ons, and amount of cellular service. Which each one is different. They have same ideas to get more consumers. With the phone companies competing for more consumers, they will lower and lower their prices so that consumers join them, not the other companies. If one company chooses to increase their price, the other company's prices will typically change based on the other companies. So the consumer will get lower and lower prices as the competition is still on, or higher prices and as well. Amazon generally started as a college bookstore and now have diversified into a couple different types of businesses. They now have a streaming services, online shopping. While Amazon is a large, commonly used company, it is not considered to be a true oligopoly. Amazon faces significant competition with other retailers, both online and in-life stores. Despite its size and resources, Amazon is not the only player in the retailer market, and consumers have a wide range of options while it comes to purchasing goods and services. Additionally, Amazon's success has been driven by part of commitment to innovate and customer service, which has helped Amazon stay ahead of the competition. Amazon's prices are increasing, but other stores are not. Amazon is losing business because of this, so they'll lower their prices more than usual. This can help explain how businesses are competing with each other. While their concerns about Amazon's power and influence is not accurate to describe it as an oligopoly. In conclusion, being an oligopoly is not necessarily awful, as it can bring benefits to the companies and consumers. Services can be an oligopoly by capitalizing on high prices of ad use and employment. For consumers, an oligopoly can result in lower prices and higher quality products and greater convenience. However, it is important to ensure that competition is not completely eliminated, as it can lead to higher prices and potentially an monopoly. It is possible to strike a balance between the benefits of an oligopoly, such as in consumers and the companies, and the competition, the advantages and stability in different items.
At this time, each of the teams will have 1 minute to confer and come up with a rebuttal if you choose to rebut this question. So your time starts now. Okay, you have about 30 seconds. So we will start with team one. Would you like to rebut? Please come up. You will have 2 minutes to rebut.
Okay, so we're gonna go against social media, because so you said that there are 30 companies. Although there may be 30 companies, not all of them are super popular or control the main industry. So say, like, say grocery chains, there's a bunch of, like any oligopoly, there's main companies and then there's smaller companies. The main companies own a major percent of the industry. And then here it says, from an article I found, it says that Facebook owns around 50% of the social media industry, along with Snapchat and TikTok being close behind Facebook, which leads to being close to an oligopoly.
And now we will hear from team two.
Social media allows people to, well, Archer said social media allows people to talk to each other. It also allows people to argue, and social media allows cyberbullying to be so much easier. And it has no boundaries. Anyone can post things on TikTok that interest them, but it allows other people to comment on what they post and make their interests change. Social media is free to people to use. That's what he said. But according to statistic, social media advertising spending in the U.S. is expected to reach over $94.4 billion in the U.S. And social media spending accounts for $1 in every $3.
And team three.
Okay, so first off, when you guys said, when the service industry said that we 30, but they don't have a lot of competition, there's 30, or whatever you said, there's 30 with over 100 million active users. There's 30 with over 100 million active users, not just in general. And then Caitlin also said that that it takes a 10-day flight from China to America. Then how is that helpful to the consumer way more than taking a boat, which is only 2 or 3 days more than whatever, and doing that. And then for entertainment, you guys said that, Nova said that you can make up to $30,000 a year starting out, and while in social media you can make up to $75,000 starting out.
Thank you. We will be moving. Speakers, thank you. James. I'm waiting. Thank you. We are now moving on to the next argument, which is how have the other industries worked towards serving themselves, and how are they closely resembling monopolistic competition? How are the other industries practicing collusion, and how has this affected the consumer? We are starting with Team 2, JP Spalding.
In the article, exploring the impact of entertainment on society, it says entertainment has been a part of human culture since the beginning of civilization. The entertainment industry is not an oligopoly. This industry may seem that it only wants to make profit and it doesn't care about the consumer, but that's not true. Streaming, music, and gaming industries care about their consumers. They give people a choice of movies, and shows to watch. And they give the consumer the ability to socialize, collaborate, and interact with others. The social media and services industry have worked to serve this up through the way they run their industry and showing that they're an oligopoly, but also showing monopolies too. They have served themselves because they don't care about their consumers and they act like a monopoly. Although the industry is considered an oligopoly, it is more monopolistic because of how they run their industry. For example, T-Mobile is an oligopoly because they buy other companies to make one big one. In this industry, they are practicing collusion, and among other practices, has affected some of their consumers from it. Entertainment shows no ways of being an oligopoly. First, people may think that entertainment is an oligopoly, but it's not. In the article by Cherry Means, it says, entertainment has helped us come together as a society, but whether it's a sporting event, a concert, or a play, people have always found ways to come together over a shared interest in entertainment. It gives us a chance to socialize and interact with others who share the same interest. This shows that it's getting people together and giving them a chance to socialize. Also, music is a part of pretty much everyone's life. It can help with anxiety, stress, blood sugar, and can help improve sleep quality. Second, with big movie companies, there are bigger categories to pick through. And you can buy it with or without ads. The streaming industry and services industry both try to make profits and overcharge their consumers, which the entertainment industry does not do. The entertainment industry wants everyone to be able to have profits, but not to overcharge their consumers and have everything fair. They practice collusion because the firms agreed to not hire each other employees so that they would keep the labor down on the employment. In the services industry, you can see that there's an oligopoly. There are many companies that run their services that they're showing an oligopoly, but also showing a way of being a monopoly. Companies that run their services industry like Amazon, Apple, phone carriers, and more. These would all show an oligopoly because they're a market structure that are dominated by fewer large companies. Services are slowly resembling monopolistic competition. They are showing monopolistic competition because of restaurants, hair salons, household items, clothing, and many more small companies. These companies are marketing chain because one of them buys each other, so they don't have a competition with the other ones. These types of companies try to monopolize the digital market. With the service industry, there are big apps like Apple and Amazon. If you go on a flight, if you don't have flying insurance, and if your flight gets canceled, most likely you won't get your money back. Overall, other companies that practice collusion have affected consumers a lot over the years. There are many ways that services show an oligopoly and they practice collusion. Social media practices collusion by how much money they get from their ads. Social media is a monopoly because Facebook has too much money and power. First, Facebook has made over $116 billion. Meta owns 3 out of 4 major apps: Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. With all of these apps, it shows that more than half of the population uses it. Second, Google is a monopoly because of how much money they also get from ads. Google pockets 30% of that comes from the ads. Apple's considered to be the number 3 company global, which has made over $385 billion. Google is making $120 million a day from ads. In 2022, Google has made $224.47 billion. Services are and Third, the creator of the ads wants people to see that the more views, the better. Also, Instagram is a very bad website because people can post videos, inappropriate videos and photos. And on TikTok, they can bully people and they can also post inappropriate photos. The entertainment industry is not an oligopoly.
Okay, our next speaker is from Team 1, and that is Cyrus.
The industries of social media and entertainment works only benefit themselves. The use of advertisement gets more people to view the product and also make money by doing it. The role of media and entertainment both are collusions because they affect consumers because entertainment uses media to get their products sold by advertisements. And the consumers will buy the products. They make people pay more money to avoid commercials and advertisements. The service industries consist of auto industry, oil companies, airlines, electric companies, grocery chains, Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft, and phone companies, all which have far more competition within them than the entertainment. In social media industries, the advantages of having a phone carrier is that it will help you pay for a new phone, not even costing you $1,000 for the phone. It will pay $20 a month each month until you pay out the $1,000. The phone and the people don't have to pay all at once. AT&T is considered a monopoly because AT&T has competition with Verizon, T-Mobile, and Cricket. One company cannot charge more than others or plans. If they did, there would be no consumers to buy their product because the prices are too high. A competitive price market allows for consumers to benefit. Between all social media applications like Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook, there are 7,300,000,000 users. Imagine the impact that could have on consumers that use the app. Social media has a monopoly against other industries because it has power to control viewers and impact their spending. Service industry is based on their prices on what other companies charge, creating competition. Social media keeps the prices the same until product gets popular, and they keep upping the price until not as much people buy the product. I found a quote on it. In fact, studies show that sales reps with high social network activities achieve 45% more sales opportunities, and they are 51% more likely to hit their sales goals. TikTok, on the other hand, has over 1 billion users because they are using music and dances to draw people into using the app. It could have a bad influence on children because it could encourage kids and sometimes get it into dangerous trends like that can affect the consumers for likes and followers. TikTok is a small platform that has a strong influence with advertising, which shows that TikTok is an oligopoly. There are 1.53 billion people that watch TikTok, or 8.8 million active users. And there are 1.8 billion active users daily that scroll on TikTok and spend money. And they spend at least 1 to 3 hours a day or even more on TikTok scrolling. And there are a lot of advertisements on TikTok that people buy. I found an article that shows the percentage of the people that spend on ads. 1.8 billion users that spend their money on the app. Well, it is shown as an oligopoly because, like TikTok, they make products themselves because of the advertisement. The media market is dominated by a few outlets like NBC, ABC, Fox, and CBS News. Many companies choose a single media outlet for consuming the information, making it hard to get outlets to gain an audience for the outlets. The entertainment of streaming industries consists of Netflix, Disney, music industries, and gaming industries. Movie companies competing against each other. The gaming industries and entertainment is an oligopoly with Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, and Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Video games have been proven that when people play any type of video games, the later bedtimes and more difficult for the consumers to fall asleep and get less time on the video games. The consumers get affected because they are staying up too late and lose track of time because they're having fun on the video games. And they don't want to get off and go outside and help their family because of the video games. And video games are only benefit themselves to having them buy the video game items, like in the game currency, and the owners are getting happy because people are buying the product that's benefiting the video game owner. Some games can cost you around $70 just for the game, and it can cost like $10 to $20 to get in-game currency to buy items for the game. Netflix and Amazon are the main competitors in the streaming industry, and some of the Disney's biggest competitors. The ABC's is a show that is in the streaming industries, took away from the news that people pay for ABC. They want to watch ABC and they can't refund it even though they bought ABC News to watch the news. But Disney bought the app, so they can't watch it on ABC. The benefits of social media, talking to people, finding information, and meeting new people online are valuable. However, the good thing about social media can lead to bad things like spending too much money on the game and too much time online. Dangerous trends or wasting hard-earned money. The service industry is not a bad monopoly because the competitors between the companies keep costs low and prevent the service industries from being controlled by companies and benefit the consumers. Thank you.
Our final speaker is from Team 3, Liliana. You have to sign in. While she's signing in, I just want to remind the audience that there is a page for rebuttal scoring, and each of the questions is in order, and it's in order by team 1, 2, and 3. And there you go. Just go to, yeah. Hold on. Okay, so there will be 5 rebuttal questions because there are 5 questions. Bring your arrow up. Okay. Is it not working? I don't know where it went. Share drive. Double click. Double click. Might be huge, so we can make it smaller for you. It's nice. Wait, that's not what you want,
No. Why is it doing this to me?
because you're. Hold on.
This right here?
Please don't stop talking too much. Okay, whatever. All right, we're ready.
Okay. The services and entertainment industries work towards serving themselves, thus creating competition between a few oligopolies within an industry. In addition to this, companies practice collusion, both tactic and explicit. And as a result, the industries affect consumers in the United States as a whole. Through mainly market power, but also company size, popularity, profit, and sales, industries have grown to large scales. However, they are too often controlled by only a handful of companies. This creates an oligopolistic structure that allows a few competing companies in the industry lots of leverage over their pricing, products, offerings and services, quality, and the way of their business. In return, companies are able to reap higher benefits for themselves. It's this unhealthy characteristic that has been adopted into the industry business that has negatively impacted many people, other businesses, communities, and even entire countries. Industries bend the laws of the legal system, and they are running legal cartels in the U.S. Meanwhile, others are stage extensive price wars against their competitors, and others are leading consumers into yet another concentration crisis. So, starting with the two major cartels of the service industry, there is the oil cartel. The oil industry is facing lots of controversy regarding their business strategies that aim to maximize profits no matter the effects on consumers. It all starts with the large oil producers, also known as big oil. They report massive annual profits that are beyond imaginable, even though they supposedly struggled and lost business through the pandemic. The large corporations such as ExxonMobil, Chevron, BP, and Shell
are making money and regaining their power in business rapidly. In fact, they are reporting massive profits, as I said earlier, and revenues that are higher than ever. Just in 2022, the big oil companies reported nearly 200 billion in combined profits. That means each company made an average annual profit of 39.88 billion. However, big oil's excess profits and huge windfall profits are not keeping them from lowering their prices. Instead, big oil is keeping their prices high, around $100 per barrel of crude oil. And they also keep their production low, thus increasing prices. This is greatly affecting the United States and consumers everywhere. As the article, Big Oil rates in record profit fall of nearly 200 billion, fueling calls for higher taxes, explains, the big oil companies that many people rely on are keeping their prices high. As a result, the oil and gas industry, consisting of mostly oligarchy companies, consumers are forced to continue paying the high prices without concrete knowledge of even why. Then, following that quote, a CBS News article addressed the oil industry's recent news in a straight-to-the-point manner. Companies clearly have everything they need: record profits and thousands of approved permits to increase production. The only thing they're getting in their way is their own decision to keep plowing windfall profits into the pockets of executives. Meanwhile, on a global scale, the larger oil-producing members of OPEC are keeping their prices high as well by coordinating cutbacks in production. OPEC has a huge influence on the oil market and a vast amount of control over sales and distribution of the world's oil supply, thus giving them a very heavy influence on pricing. By this definition, a cartel is a group of participants in an industry who have come together to either reduce or prevent competition among themselves by a variety of means, including price fixing, bid rigging, customer allocation, and regulating the output of the industry. OPEC is essentially a worldwide oligopolistic cartel. Following this cartel is the pharmaceutical cartel. It is the U.S.'s largest cartel that has substantial effects on consumers. It basically is the strategization of business within the pharmaceutical industry, and they aim for the highest profit. So, the pharmaceutical industry is among the largest oligopolies in the United States. The industry works towards discovering, researching, developing, producing, and marketing pharmaceutical drugs that are to be used as medications for patients, prescription drugs, and public consumption, over-the-counter drugs. However, large-scale pharmaceutical companies, also known as Big Pharma, are known to exploit their control over distribution and pricing of products. The companies gain leverage over consumers and overpricing, are able to gain leverage over consumers with overpricing their drugs, medications, and prescriptions. They price gouge and overuse patents. They have non-transparency, and they limit their competition. The pharmaceutical industry, while trying to portray itself as a benevolent entity, is simply a for-profit business where only revenue, profits, self-benefit, and self-preservation matters. But they will try to convince you that they are working primarily to improve their products and services. They are using their patients. They are piling their profits into investments to simply increase and have more profits. Okay, so following the cartel industry, or the industry that is run by cartels, is an industry that is run by intense competition and price wars. So, the ideal battleground for an intense price war would be no better place than the fast food industry. Although many different scale companies belong to this industry, large corporations hold most of the power in the market. The well-known McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, KFC, Taco Bell, Starbucks, etc. all have strong influences over the industry marketing and pricing. Dominating firms dictate the market and have intense monopolistic competition. One such example of a monopolistic competition is the McDonald's versus Burger King versus Wendy's. They all sell the same products, but they just advertise them slightly differently. One example is the value menus that each of these three companies offer. McDonald's has its $1, $2, $3 menu. Wendy's the $5 biggie bag, and Burger King's $1 your way. These value menus target consumers that are looking for a cheaper meal option when out for food. So, yeah. Moving away from intense competition is the high concentration in an industry. The streaming industry is a key player in a highly concentrated market. In this industry, the streaming industry, is built purely around content and things that only their company offers. This is the exclusivity of offerings. The more exclusivity a company has, the more power it wields in the market. So companies grow into these streaming giants by expanding their possessions. They buy studios, rights to shows, movies and series, and they also buy other film companies as well. The more a streaming company possesses, the more exclusive content it can offer under a subscription. And the more they can offer under a subscription, the more they can charge the customer. This is a systematic issue for the consumer that lends itself to streaming oligopoly that's comprised of already a handful of providers like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus, and Max, all which are prone to monopolistic competition and tactic collusion. Okay, then, last but not least, the video game industry. The video game industry is a relatively new industry on the rise of technology advanced products, and the gaming industry has been dominated by three firms for practically its entire lifespan. So this growing industry, which is still growing, video games have become a huge industry in today's society. The industry itself has accumulated large amounts of popularity from consumers around the world, so much so that it's said to be bigger than the sports and entertainment industry combined. The movie and sports, my bad. However, this growing industry is controlled by primarily three companies: Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. The gaming industry is the perfect representation of the oligopoly, an industry run by only a few firms. And as a consequence of the gaming industry's three companies running it, these three companies dictate the quality and pricing of their products, and it's hard for consumers to find alternatives. So they just have to pay the price tag of what the companies put on it because there is no other option for them to choose from. Anyways, so many companies are like with the business objective of serving themselves first, eliminating competition, and controlling the market, which means us, the consumer. Whether it is through the monopolistic competition one business has with a limited number of other businesses within the same industry, or through tactic or even explicit collusion with other firms, the oligopolistic structure of today's service and entertainment industry is having substantial effects on consumers everywhere. But no other place is being affected as much as by these service and entertainment oligopolies as in the United States.
So at this point, we will be offering rebuttals for this last question. and we will be ending day 1. We are gonna go tomorrow. Unfortunately, we don't have the time this morning to go to the next questions. I know that many of you were ready. You'll be more ready tomorrow. Okay, so we are going to start with Team 2. Do you have someone who would like to rebut?
Okay, so I'm going to go against the services industry. So Cyrus mentioned that video games cost around $80, but it's not any different from Snapchat Plus or stuff like buying stuff that's advertised on TikTok. So Snapchat Plus is $39.99 for a year, which means it'd be like $80 for 2 years. But all that Snapchat Plus allows you to do is have extra features such as looking to see how much someone's Snap score went up, or seeing when someone's gone in the last 24 hours, and more. But the company has confirmed that more than 2 million people have paid for it, which is just a waste of money compared to a video game that you can have for like until you just want to lose it. And you also mentioned that Amazon and Netflix are the only 2 streaming services that dominate the industry, but there's more like Disney Plus.
And Team 1, do you have someone who would like to rebut? Team 1? Is there anyone who would like to rebut? No? Okay. Okay. Team 3? Okay. Sure.
Okay, so even though the oil prices are really high, we can't live without oil, or it'd be hard to, because a lot of companies and public places use oil to cook food, make electricity, and it'd be hard to live.
And finally, Team 3. Your rebuttal. You have 2 minutes. That's it.
Okay, so first off, on Snapchat Plus, you don't have to pay that price to operate on the app. So it's really up to the consumer to make that purchase. And about the oil, our society is quite dependent on oil, but that begs the question, why do U.S. oil companies not increase their production? Because I have a quote here from the article, 5 Reasons Why the United States Can't Throw Its Way to Energy Independence. And it claims that the reason the U.S. oil companies haven't increased production is simple. They decided to use their billions in profits to pay dividends to their CEOs, wealthy shareholders, and simply haven't chosen to invest in new oil production. U.S. oil companies generally have been reluctant to pump more, preferring to steer cash flows back to investors instead of spending it on new drilling that could flood the world with cheap crude oil. So, why do the oil companies choose not to, pump more oil, which would technically benefit the consumer and make their profits decrease, but they are choosing to reap profits rather than do what their purpose is.
At this point, please finish the scoring that you have. Will 4th and 5th grade join us tomorrow? Okay, so you will be hanging on. Do not move. Please do not move. We will empty the room from the nearest to the door, and then we'll go from there. Thank you very much for coming to day 1. Bye. That's really in the try. All right. So we are going to get started. Today we are hoping to get through the final 3 questions. Tomorrow we will do our closing statements. If we have time today, we will get to that, but I have a feeling we won't because I think rebuttals will be pretty involved. So we have argument 2 is today, how have the other oligopolies created issues with demand for products and services? And our speakers, we're going to start with team 1, Atticus Irwin.
There is no doubt that the oligopolies of the social media and entertainment industries have created issues with demand for products and services. Whether it is Facebook, Snapchat, or Twitter in the social media industry, or the few big video game companies and streaming companies in the entertainment oligopoly, each of them does their part to hurt their consumers. In social media, there are lots of ads and apps, which causes major demand because the social media apps put ads on the app that would be in the consumer's best interest, so they are more likely to purchase what the apps are advertising. The entertainment industry, video games lure kids / young adults into spending money on their games. They come up with creative ways to try and get money out of the players of the game. The social media and entertainment industries are creating more issues with demand for products / services than the service industry. I may be wondering what these oligopolies are trying to accomplish. Facebook, Snapchat, and TikTok are the main companies in the social media oligopoly of the video game industry. While in the video game industry, there are only a few big companies that run the game industry, such as Nintendo, Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, and Epic Games. These companies are constantly trying to find ways to make the most money, so that they sometimes forget about the well-being of their consumers. On social media platforms and video games, kids and young adults stay up late scrolling through and playing these apps and video games. An example of this is ads for free in-game currency on social media. There are ads for free V-Bucks in Fortnite. Kids click on these ads in hopes to actually get free V-Bucks. The kids get caught in a rabbit hole of different websites, doing all these tasks and hope to get free in-game currency, but in reality, these ads are just trying to scam and take advantage of these kids who are easily impressionable. These games and apps don't care about the consumers. They're just trying to get the most money as possible. So if the social media apps have to smother the consumer with lots of ads, or the video game companies continuously add new characters to buy and items to get, they won't stop because they only care about the money. Ads on social media. Ads are a big part of social media today, but what makes them such a big part? Ads pop up on social media all the time because companies are trying to get the consumer to spend money on that product. Companies can pay for an ad on a major social media app so their product can possibly get bought by the hundreds of thousands of people on that app. An example of this is Instagram. When scrolling through Instagram, the consumer will view maybe 2 to 4 posts and get one of the same ads that they always get when scrolling through Instagram. The ads that the consumer gets on Instagram are tailored to what they're interested in, so they are more likely to spend their money on that ad. An example of this is, say the consumer is interested in sports and follows a bunch of sports accounts. They will get ads for basketball shoes and cleats from certain websites because they know that you are interested in sports, so they try to make money off of your interest. Other apps like TikTok do this as well. In 2019, social network advertising revenue in the United States amounted to $36.14 billion US, and predicted that by 2021 there would be over $50 billion in advertising revenue. Social media companies made $153 billion in 2021 in ads, and in 2022 the worldwide revenue was $226 billion in ads. Video games make people spend money. The entertainment industry, specifically video games, is known for somewhat baiting people into spending money on their games. According to Genvis.com, the video industry is worth over $90 billion worldwide, and they make 90% of that money on in-game purchases. This shows how $81 billion of the money made worldwide on video games comes from in-game purchases. A statement from MedicalExpress.com: children and young adults and young people are spending increasing amounts of time and money on gaming. Our research demonstrates the dangers of in-game purchasing, especially when game developers actively use techniques drawn from gambling to encourage children and young adults to buy in-game items. This shows how companies basically trick their consumers, which are mostly kids, by using tactics to make the kids addicted to these games. Kids cause their parents to feel pressured to buy items on video games. An example of this is subscriptions on consoles. On Xbox and PlayStation, you have to pay $10 to $15 just so you can play certain games. The kids want to play these games with their friends, which can cause pressure for their parents because the kids just want to play these games with their friends, or so they can just fit in. Just because the service industry is an oligopoly does not mean that it's all bad. To begin, although costs in grocery stores have risen, they haven't limited the products that they sell. During the pandemic, these grocery stores and their workers worked very hard to stay open and provide for their communities, even if that meant risking their health. Next, according to Investopedia.com, gas is an important input for transportation, which directly impacts households as they drive, but also businesses that rely on logistics and transportation chains around the globe. If discretionary spending is hampered by the higher gasoline costs, it can have knock-on effects throughout the broader economy. This shows how gas prices are not the best, but the majority of the population relies heavily on the gas in everyday life. Finally, although phone carriers do cost a lot, the new technology in the phones and the fact that people use them so much in their every single day lives makes it so they have to cost a lot of money. The social media and entertainment industries have created more issues with demand for products and services than the service industry. Ads on social media and the video game industry causing people to spend excessive amounts of money have both contributed to this. I'm confident that the service industry has not created these issues.
Our next speaker is Alexis Reed.
The entertainment industry has given people enjoyment from music, video games, and streaming and apps more. Nowadays, kids and adults use a lot of the apps and products that have been created for entertainment purposes. With movie streaming services, people who
Could you start again in the volume, because the audience can't hear you online.
the entertainment industry has given enjoyment from music, video games, streaming apps, and more. Nowadays, kids and adults use a lot of apps that could have been created for entertainment purposes. With movie streaming apps, people who couldn't make it to the movie theater to watch a movie that they've been waiting to watch, can easily go on Netflix or Hulu to watch it at home. With video games, everyone says video games are unhealthy and that they are no good for the kids or even the adults' brains. But some video games help with life skills such as building survival mode. Simulator games or tycoons teach kids and adults to build and create this world that requires skills and knowing that how things work in the real life world. These industries always have to guard the buyers with what they'll be receiving when you buy. Getting a monthly trial receives all the premium effects that comes with it. With having this subscription, you will be able to access more perks like Spotify. If you pay $9.99, you will get unlimited app skips, ad-free music, and downloadable music wherever you like. All these additions attract more customers. Now, the industries have problems with demanding product. Other industries have problems with demanding product. For advertising the product and not releasing it. Different firms have different ways of putting up supplies. Women.org says the oil and gas industry is facing increasing demands to clarify the implications of energy transitions for their operations and business models, and to explain contributions that the companies hold products often to limit is one way they create problems since the buyers will be looking for the product but can't buy it. Then the company puts it back out for more expensive price. Other businesses do this activity to get more customers as well, like oil companies. Investotopia says that even people who use less oil have relatively elastic demand for it. Someone who uses mass transplant or live live close to work will not move out into the suburbs and buy a gas-guzzling SUV just because the price of oil fell. On most, lower oil prices will induce people to take more vacations in the short run. Oil prices have a strong impact on airline fares, and the cost of driving across the country. A lot and always on the road. Oil companies tend to price their products higher knowing that travelers will buy them. Ticket resale companies do this a lot too. When singers, bands, or sports games go on sale, the first time it is less expensive since it's the first round of tickets, so whoever gets the cheapest ticket first is won. On the ticket resale, once the ticket resale company decides to put more tickets, they're always more expensive than the last batch of tickets. This is because the companies saw how quickly the first batch got sold out. They're hoping for their second batch to get sold out in the same amount of it before a higher price. This is caused a lot of problems with fans who like the singing down or singing because of how expensive tickets are. Second round of selling in the room. Businesses always have a way to get their sales up. They want to promote their product, but only putting out a certain amount. Only putting out a certain amount of products, people will want more. For example, local Paul and KSI, the creators of Grad hydration, said that if they limit the supply of prime they're putting out, it will create more demand for customers. KSI and Rose and Paul weren't expecting for their drink to get the amount they did. Other resale companies have been selling prime for more than it goes in the UK, like eBay sellers in the TikToker Legion Wine made a video selling prime from $100, which got the attention of one of the creators, KSI.
Our next speaker is Ivy Betts.
The entertainment and service industries have inflicted issues with
Move closer to the
The entertainment and service industries have inflicted issues with demand for products and services. For example, clothing services can manufacture a plain t-shirt for around $1, but then put a designer logo on it and sell it for around $100. And way too many people pay for subscriptions, but soon discover that there are many other fees with the purchase, so really what are they paying for? These are just some of the ways that the entertainment and service industries can manipulate consumers into spending excessive amounts of money. Many companies come out with new products every year. They're marketed to have more benefits and be better. Although the product is new, the companies producing it most likely know how to make improvements all along. The companies choose not to release the so-called new technology so the consumers overall spend more money. For example, when Apple released the first iPad, it didn't have a camera. Apple is a company that specializes in creating cameras, and they knew how to make one at that time. According to Verizon, Apple's first iPhone from 2007 was the one that started it all, and a 3.5-inch screen, a 2-megapixel camera, and topped out at just 16 gigabytes of storage. The first iPad was made in 2010, making the first iPhone with a camera older than the iPad. So when they released the second iPad, they put a camera on it so the consumers would ditch the old one and buy the new improved one. But overall, Apple had the technology for the second iPad all along. And this is just one example of service oligopolies manipulating consumers. The last couple of years, Amazon has not done well with getting packages to Prime members on time. In 2019 and years before, if you paid for Amazon Prime, you get your package delivered in 2 days, and now you have to wait a whole week. Amazon service slowed down like this when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. The reason it takes so long for packages to arrive has nothing to do with the UPS or USPS system. It all falls on Amazon how long it takes them to package your items. So when consumers are paying $139 a year for 2-day shipping, they really aren't getting what they're paying for. Over 200 million people pay for Amazon Prime, and many have this issue. This is just one way Amazon can manipulate consumers into paying for a benefit that's really a false advertisement. Moving on to the entertainment industry, many parents come across this problem in their lives. Kids nowadays find their entertainment on devices, especially in this case games. When someone wants to download a game on their device, it will say free or it will say purchase with the price next to it. When they download a free game, they will soon find out that the game is not exactly free. Games usually have some type of in-app purchase, whether it's buying gems, coins, new levels, the list goes on. But these in-app purchases are almost too easy for kids to buy. Sometimes it's just one click or a couple. But with the adults' credit cards hooked up to their phone, kids can buy whatever they want in seconds. Here's a quote from the article: "Your consumer voice on phones and internet." While some games or apps cost nothing to download on our smartphones or tablets, they often contain extra elements you can purchase within the game known as in-app purchases. It is easy to make in-app purchases with many parents reporting that their children are buying things within games, not realizing that they cost their parents real money. This shows how the companies that own these games are taking advantage of children and making it very easy for them to purchase things without parental permission. Along with Amazon is called an app called Prime Video. It's a streaming service. Prime Video has about every movie on the market. Although you have to have a membership to watch any movie on the app, people must think that the movies will be free with a membership, but most of them are not. Here's a quote from an article by Christopher Zara. Maybe you know the feeling. You're scrolling around on Amazon Prime Video, mind your own business, and you stumble upon the perfect Saturday night movie. But when you go to click on it, you realize that it's only available to rent or buy. In other words, Amazon is asking you, the person who already pays for a primary membership, to pay even more to watch a movie. This shows how people that already paid for a Prime Video membership are not paying for much. To be fair, a lot of the movies are free, the old not as popular ones to be more specific. But if someone wanted to watch a movie, a more popular movie, they would have to spend anywhere from $5 to $10 to rent to 2 days, and even up to $20 to purchase forever. This all shows how the entertainment and service industry scams consumers of their money. Overall, both entertainment and service industries have and will continue to negatively impact their consumers. They scam innocent people for excessive amounts of money, and they cheat and lie their way through the systems to harm consumers, and can even manipulate kids into spending their parents' money. In the end, these industries will do anything it takes to make more profit. These examples show how the industries are overall harmful and manipulative. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, teams have a minute to confer, and then we will be sharing rebuttals. I'm going to wrap it up. And now we will have, I need all teams to stop conferring. We will have team 2 have a representative who will rebut.
Okay, so Ivy said that, so you said that the kids are the ones who are spending their credit card, their parents' credit card, but if it's a clear problem that adults are like reporting out that their kids are spending money on their credit cards, then why would the adults have their credit card available or open? Like, it's not just a reflection on the kid that's irresponsible, but it's a reflection on the adult. And Atticus said that the service industry sells gas for a high price because people need it. But the fact that they sell it so high is them trying to manipulate consumers. Because If it's such a necessity, why would they want to control the consumer if they're advertising that they want to help the consumer and benefit them?
We will now have team one, and please, when you speak, I need all please to stop. When you speak, please speak directly into the microphone.
During COVID, the demand for products changed as the stores couldn't keep up with the demand by themselves, so the consumers turned to apps like Amazon. This was not an example of services manipulating suppliers, and the same went for oil during COVID.
And finally, we need a representative from team three.
So I think someone brought up the fact that social media uses ads to, obviously advertise, but ads benefit both sides, and services and entertainment also advertise.
Thank you. At this time, we will move on to the next question. This question is, how can my industry be defended for its price or excessive ad use? How has it actually benefited the consumer through each? And we will be beginning with team one, Kiara Shagman.
The social media industry, service industry, and entertainment industry.
Here, you need to call the microphone.
The social media industry, service industry, and entertainment industry have all been accused of high pricing and excessive advertising. When scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, there are always constant ads that aren't directly targeted to your interests. When you're watching movies on different streaming channels, there are always commercials to sell your show. The industries can turn high pricing and excessive advertisement into something that the companies and consumers can use to our advantage. These two components create competition between different companies. Ad usage for different services can get people's attention and eventually build the business bigger over time. The service industry can benefit from the high advertising to keep the cost low for their consumers. The service industry can be defended by these components through oil companies, grocery chains, and airlines. The oil and gas industry is an important service in our world. It supports millions of American jobs, provides lower energy costs for consumers, and can help drive economic growth. These industries also provide energy for transportation, like buses, cars, trains, and airplanes. All these transportations in public places would eventually slow down or come to a stop without the gas and oil industry. The oil and gas industries have a few ways of advertising. The oil and gas industry's way of advertising is beneficial and helpful to the service industry. The gas pump advertising can represent multiple different ads. For example, in the article, gas station advertising, it says they're widespread viewership by the general public and they're more cost effective than other forms of advertising. While many ad types give you the option to target specific segments of the population, outdoor advertising is a better option if you are looking to grab as many eyeballs as possible with the general message that has a broad appeal. This form of advertising is helpful because many people go to a gas station a day, and the more people that see these advertisements, the more useful they will actually be. The oil and gas industry should not be blamed for high prices. The oil and gas companies don't get to decide on how high or low the prices are. They're determined by the global market. In the article, gas station owners aren't to blame for high prices. It says, Putin deserves a good share of blame for the price run-up in the weeks since the Ukraine invasion. But by then, prices had already jumped more than $1 per gallon above the previous year. Multiple worldwide events had an effect on the oil and gas industries, including the most recent war. Grocery chains provide many different things for families, communities, towns, etc. Grocery chains are important services to our industry. They provide different foods like dairy, meat, vegetables, and food.
Different grocery chains have different products, or they may have similar products for different prices. Grocery chains have to compete with each other in order to stay competitive. Businesses need competition. Without competition, they wouldn't be able to do as well as they do now. Grocery chains have multiple ways of advertising, whether it's through the newspapers, weekly offers, posters, etc. All these ways of advertising benefit grocery stores because they bring in new customers and help the items become more popular. A lot of stores have loyalty cards, rewards, and if you buy their brand item, they might give you points rather than buying the name brand, you won't get as many points. These loyalty cards can help benefit the consumers as well as the fact that grocery stores are starting to get more self-checkout. Having more self-checkout can benefit the consumers because that means you won't need to pay as many employees as you do today. Recently, grocery chains have been more inclusive with their advertising, bringing in more diversity through their commercials. Airlines provide many different services for people, whether it's getting people from one place to another, getting packages across the country, or allowing you to visit your family and friends. Without airlines, you wouldn't have the jobs, they wouldn't be able to travel far places across the country as quickly as we do, and we wouldn't be able to get packages from one place to another. Pricing and advertising within the airline industry is beneficial to our society. Advertising on airplanes can target and benefit the consumer all throughout the world. Advertising on an airplane can be done on boarding passes, commercials on TVs, flight magazines, and overhead storage. Adding onto that, airlines can offer memberships, and every time you fly, you can earn miles. Collecting and adding off of miles over time can give you benefits on the plane. Some benefits come with earning you a free flight or giving you flight upgrades if you earn enough points. When booking a flight, there are multiple ways to do it. Some people do it through different companies like Kayak, Expedia, and Travelocity, and more. All these websites offer different deals and pricing. Therefore, the service industry can turn a high pricing and excessive advertisement into something we can use to our advantage. Services provide so much for our world. Without services, people wouldn't be able to function in their daily lives, and millions of people lose their jobs. Advertising in oil companies, grocery chains, and airlines increase the popularity and can go back and benefit the consumers. Finally, the pricing in all three of these services are beneficial and helpful to both the company and the consumer. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Natalie Lumbrook.
The entertainment industry is a massive.
Please speak into the microphone.
The entertainment industry is
Nope. Gotta move closer. Okay, we just want to hear what you have to say.
The entertainment industry is a massive and diverse field that includes various forms of media, including movies, television shows, music, and video games. While some people may view the industry as an oligopoly, where a few large companies dominate the market,
Breathe.
the reality is that the entertainment industry is much more complex. There are numerous players in the market, including independent studios, streaming services, which are all competing for the consumer's attention. In this sense, the entertainment industry is not an oligopoly, but rather an ever-changing ecosystem that reflects the interests of consumers. The entertainment industry has been known for its ability to command high prices for its products and services. Whether it's a blockbuster movie, a hit television show, or a popular new album, consumers have been willing to pay premium price for the best entertainment experiences. This is in contrast to the services and social media industry, where many products and services are offered at free or at a low cost. However, despite the differences in pricing strategies, the entertainment industry has
consistently been able to defend its price better than its counterparts in the services and social media industry. In this sense, the entertainment industry has a unique advantage when it comes to pricing, one that is rooted in the nature of the products and services it offers. The airline industry is an oligopoly because a small group of airlines control the majority of the market share. That means airlines have significant control over the prices they charge for flights. While there are many expenses involved in operating an airline, including fuel costs, maintenance fees, and labor expenses, airlines are often criticized for charging high prices for tickets. This is because of the lack of competition in the industry allows airlines to charge whatever they want with little to no fear of losing customers to other companies. Additionally, airlines often engage in price collusion, where they agree to set prices at a certain level in order to maximize profits. Netflix pays between $100 to $250 million for a movie. This amount will range depending on the movie and the type of streaming rights Netflix wants, which is the reason why the subscription prices are so high. Netflix income is from the subscription that viewers pay when they go into the movies which then goes into the movies they buy. It's like that in the movie theaters as well. Movie theaters charge so high in ticket prices so that they can bring more movies to the fans. In the 70s, the prices of the ticket cost $2.34. If you put that into an inflation calculator, it would cost you $9.46 nowadays, which is around the same prices that the tickets are in movie theaters, or around here. Because of streaming technology, movie theaters have to use incentives to bring consumers, and with all those upgrades, they all come at a high price, leading to more expensive tickets. The movie theater is expensive because of the mandatory fees that they are charged. They charge the consumer somewhat high amount so that they can cover the cost of the movie that they pay for, or cover the cost of what they pay for the movie and get income. So when a movie theater sells a ticket for $10 and the concession for $5, the theater would make $2.50 from the ticket and 50 cents from the concessions. Movie theaters have to pay for the cost of licensing, advertising, and other expenses related to showing the film. And for another example, Disney Plus spent $71.3 billion to acquire the film and TV rights to the 20th Century Fox, so they could add those titles to their offerings. Disney Plus offers a wide range of content, including classic Disney movies, popular TV shows, and original programming. In order to create this content, Disney invests heavily in production and marketing, which can be expensive. Consumers have a wide range of options when it comes to streaming services, which means that Disney Plus cannot simply charge whatever they want. Instead, they have to back up their charging strategy by pointing out to the high quality of its content and competitive nature of the streaming industry. Amazon is one of the largest commerce retailers in the world, and as such, it is often considered an oligopoly. The company has significant control over the prices it charges for products, which can be frustrating for consumers. This is because Amazon has acquired a large market share, which allows it to set prices at a level that maximizes profits. Additionally, Amazon has been criticized for engaging in competitive practices, such as undercutting prices of small retailers, or uses market dominance to force suppliers to lower their prices. But Amazon is not the only commerce retailer. It is often the first choice for many consumers due to the convenience and low prices it offers. This means that Amazon has significant power in the market, which can lead to higher prices for consumers. Finally, the entertainment industry has been able to adapt to changing consumers' preferences and advancements in the technology, allowing it to stay relevant and maintain high prices. In contrast, the services and social media industry has struggled to monetize their products and services, relying instead on advertising revenue and data collection to generate revenue. While this has led to some success, it has also made it difficult for these companies to defend their prices in the face of competition from other free or low-cost services.
And our final speaker is Hannah Carroll.
Social media has many benefits when it comes to advertising. It's usually
You gotta start again, into the microphone, we can't hear you.
Social media has many benefits when it comes to advertising. It's easier to get your business out there and show your product. All around the world, people are on social media. Over 4.9 billion people worldwide use social media. A lot of small businesses use platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media to get their product out. It is also convenient for users because they can find what they want with a quick search that won't take that much time. Overall, advertising on social media is a lot more convenient in terms of marketing for big companies, small businesses, and the user has it at their fingertips. When seeing an ad online, one can learn about the product right away, no matter where they are or what time it is. Social media makes buying and selling a lot easier because they can do it at any time it wants. These companies can choose who sees their product. The user will see ads that are similar to their searches instead of wasting their time on seeing things they're not interested in. Also, users don't actually get charged for using social media platforms. They can log in and make accounts for free. There's an option to pay a premium option, for example, Snapchat Plus, which is not needed to use Snapchat. However, on streaming services such as Amazon Prime Video, which you must pay even user, and then must rent or buy movies while still paying a subscription. Next, the user can talk to the people selling directly and form more loyalty, and if there are questions about said product, they can be answered right. Article, How Effective is Advertising on Social Media from GWI.com found that a digital survey from 2020 says that 27% of people found new brands from social media. Another benefit from ads on social media, ads can increase awareness. It lets people know about issues going on around the world. Things such as GoFundMe's and other fundraisers can provide money for these causes. Things such as spreading awareness, connecting with small businesses directly, and being able to find things quickly are some benefits for users on social media. However, users being able to talk to the companies directly can also be of help to the business trying to sell to. There are around 4.9 billion users on social media around the world. With this many people, it is easier for businesses to make themselves more visible through social media, and they can control who sees their ads, making it easier to find people actually interested in it. Social media gives companies a way to find their target audience and advertise to people who want the product. Control who sees their ads and making it easier to find people who are actually. Companies find a way to find their target audience and advertise to people who want the product instead of wasting time and money with people who aren't. Generally, social media makes it easier for businesses and customers to talk and communicate. It makes a way for companies to develop a loyal customer base. Social media makes it easier. Social media makes advertising can contribute to the economy with how it provides information about the product and how it can create a chain reaction of income, of jobs and sales because of companies getting products and services promoted. It also gets jobs in other levels of the economy due to how sales move throughout it. Also, most social media platforms have an algorithm that only show ads similar to things the user is interested in or has looked at on that platform. The user also has an option to block ads. According to the website Statista, in 2021, ads on social media make $153 billion and they're estimated to make $252 billion in 2026. Also, 71% of small businesses are online and active in 2023. These are some examples of how advertising on social media is good for the company advertising. It is more beneficial because it gets out to more people. It is also more convenient for small businesses. In the modern world, businesses have a hard time getting recognition due to big companies that have stores everywhere. However, on social media, many people can see small business ads at once. They can buy products right there. Firstly, it doesn't cost that much. They charge per click so that it's easier for small businesses to make money while also being able to afford advertising. For example, Facebook charges 97 cents per click and $12 per 1,000 impressions. It gives small businesses a better chance at getting out there and having recognition. It gives them the opportunity to compete with bigger companies. Overall, advertising online is easier and more convenient for small businesses that have a hard time getting recognition. So how does advertising on social media benefit the consumer? Advertising is good for both the user and the company being advertised. It helps users learn about new products and services, and it helps companies reach more customers. Advertising on social media is also a great way for small businesses to reach more people and compete with larger companies. Thank you.
At this time, we will take 1 minute to confer and to rebut. Okay, we're going to get started with the rebuttals. If teams would please be ready. Okay. We will be starting with team 3. Who would like to rebut? Okay, we will move on to team 2. Is there someone who would like to rebut? No? Team 1. Okay, we do have some.
Okay, so we're gonna kind of take it back to what Ivy said earlier about the iPad, where she said the first iPad had no camera, and then they added a second camera on for consumers to pay more. We're gonna take that to what Hannah just said about Snapchat and apps that have like premium. You don't have to pay for the new one, but they continuously add new features, so you are intrigued to pay for the new one. So it's similar to that.
And now we will be moving on to our next and our final question. And this question has to do with the health of the consumer and the safety of the consumer. How has your industry or service ensured health and safety for the consumer? And how have others created shared loopholes? Excuse me, teams. I would like to be quiet. Thank you. Let me repeat. How has your industry or service ensured health and safety for the consumer? And how have the others created shared loopholes where they are not accountable for the well-being of the consumer? Our first speaker is Quinn O'Shea.
Social media has ensured health and safety for its consumers and has not created loopholes to regulate with sneaky activities. It has benefited and improved the well-being of individuals and protects their information. The entertainment and service industries have created shared loopholes while not ensuring the health and safety of the consumer. These money-draining industries are more harmful than people may assume. Social media, though, is the exact opposite. Social media can actually create a safe space for individuals and help build communities online. According to an article by Kevin Naroos, a search with the hashtag mental health on the TikTok app showed more than 16.4 billion views. TikTok has opened the doors to people who have or are struggling with mental health issues. Social media platforms are also able to help people push through the rough times during the pandemic by letting people, family, and friends communicate. It's proven that the isolation from others can have severe mental and physical effects for some. Social media is able to help with that. It's also really helpful for people with small businesses. According to an article by Akbile DeFazio, most of the social platforms are in line with costs. However, from our experience, we've seen lower costs about 13 cents per click on Pinterest. Small businesses can grow and thrive due to social media. It can also keep your information safe. When someone shares information on social media, they create what's called a digital fingerprint, which can prevent fraud, scammers, catching bad hackers, and protect your information from being stolen from outside sources. Private accounts can also protect users. Entertainment, however, has been creating loopholes to make consumers pay more. For example, Disney owns multiple different entertainment companies and has stakes in other popular ones too. According to statistics from Jason Kellerman, Disney owns Touchstone Pictures, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Hollywood Records, and Ford Publishing. They have large stakes in ESPN, A&E, the History Channel, Lifetime, and Vice Media. In order to watch anything that involves those companies, you have to buy a plan with Disney Plus. And in order to have Disney for 2 years, it will cost you about $191.76 people are paying $8 a month and they still have to watch ads. Along with that, entertainment is also completely unregulated. So Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, they're all completely free to do as they please streaming wise. People can watch pretty much anything they want, which can get dangerous when exposed to small children. And no one can stop them. An article by the FCC says, the FCC has limited legal authority to act on complaints relating to the content of television or radio programming. This makes it quite literally impossible to do anything about it. Moving on to services. Services make consumers pay more for worse quality and less product. Starting off is the big pharmaceutical companies. They charge insane amounts of money for name brand drugs people need to live. A vial of insulin made by Humalog, a popular name brand drug, costs $393 without insurance, but only costs 39 cents to produce, which does not add up at all. According to an article by Ezekiel J. Emanuel, to be more precise, after accounting for the cost of all research, about $80 billion a year, drug companies had $40 billion more from the top 20 drugs alone, all of which went straight to profits, not research. These pharmaceutical companies are only thinking about what's in their best interest and what will benefit them the most, and not about the consumers. And individuals are even making themselves portion out the medicine they need to live because they can't afford it. Insurance should be able to help with this, but the premiums have spiked up over the past few years and they're not going back down. According to an article by Johannes Kieliner, the US stands out for many countries in not offering universal health insurance coverage. 50 million people, 16% of the US population, lack insurance coverage. Insurance companies are outpacing wages to the point they are too hard to pay off. While insurance should be the savior, it is nearly impossible to acquire and maintain. Another service that shows oligopolistic trades is the auto industry. GM, Stellantis, and Ford have taken control over the US automotive sector. Bigger car companies that have the more advanced chips and car features continue to buy out smaller car companies that can't compete anymore. To conclude, the entertainment and service industries have and will continue to harm their consumers and rob them of safety and health. They create loopholes to make themselves more money and have no regard for the people they are supposed to be serving, the consumer. Social media, though, does not partake in harming its consumers or putting their safety at risk. Social media cares about its consumers and their well-being. That is part of what makes it non-oligopolistic.
Our next speaker is Chester.
The service industries have ensured health and safety for consumers in many ways. This is not only talking about their physical and mental health, it is also talking about their financial health. A lot of companies will try to take as much money from the consumer as they can. A lot of companies will raise the prices on products alongside other companies so that they'll make more than them or so that they can change the value that their companies have. Many companies will put more work into the ads than they will the product. So the ad will make the product sound better than it really is. So people buy the product. What they get will not be as high quality as they made it sound in the ad. Like in social media, there are a lot of ads that people can find while looking around. And they might advertise things like new games. But most of the time, the games are not what they look like in the ads. The ads might be more fun than the games themselves, which can influence people to buy the games. People don't have to buy the product for the people who made the ads to make money. All that they have to do is click on the ad and the people who made the money will still be paid. And when people do buy the products, they can take weeks to actually get them, and the product might not work in general, or it could break during shipping. Companies are raising prices using an algorithm, which can allow them to raise or lower prices of products multiple times daily. Before they used algorithms, changing prices would only happen annually. Harvard Businesses says that the algorithms will only be able to help the companies and not the consumers, because they will automatically adjust to the change in prices of the suppliers, but also to the other companies. A research done by Harvard Business School says that when compared with a simulation in which each firm exhibited traditional price-setting behavior, the algorithmic prices were 5.2% higher on average, and variable profits increased by 9.6%. According to the study, the model also predicted that algorithmic competition resulted in a modest decline of 0.9% in quantity purchased over the study period. In the entertainment industry, video games can have a negative effect on people's physical and mental health. It can affect their physical health, by some people would rather just sit and play games instead of going outside or to hang out with some of their friends, which can affect their weight and their social skills. It can also have a negative effect on their eyes and muscles. And some people won't eat proper meals, which can also affect their health. It can affect their mental health negatively, by some people online are being bullied, which can cause depression and anxiety. The entertainment and social media companies have many shared loopholes where they are not accountable for the well-being of the consumers. Price fixing is a loophole that companies have made when they set the prices higher than they normally would. Companies also manipulate the supply line of certain products, which means they limit production of items so that they can raise the prices for those items. Another loophole is that companies like Disney buy companies and make it so that consumers have to get multiple subscriptions so that the consumer can use the company. And companies like Disney will be getting almost all of the profit. The cost per gains have increased a lot over the years. While the minimum wage has hardly changed. In 1970, the minimum wage was $1.60, while the minimum wage today is $7.25. That is only 11 cents a year. But the prices of living has increased from $189,000 to $440,000. That's $5,000 a year. A more commonly bought thing are games and games consoles. The game console made in 1977 cost $200, and that same game console today costs almost $900. That is $15 a year. $15 a year. In conclusion, the other companies have many shared loopholes that help them make as much money as possible from the consumer, such as they manipulate the supply line to make the products cost more. Many companies will put more work in ads than they will their actual products.
And our final speaker on this question is Bethany Guyette.
The entertainment industry has ensured health and safety for the consumers, such as mental health, physical health, and their well-being. Music is one very popular way that people cope. There are so many different types of music apps, such as Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music. By making so many different resources, this allows people to cope whenever it is needed, in public or at home. Music allows people to relate to their feelings, notice their feelings, and also allows them to express themselves. Music therapy is the clinical use of music to help with many emotions. It can be used to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, enhance communication and social skills, manage pain, and increase joy and motivation. How can music improve your mental health states? The researchers found that people who listen to music recover faster from the stress of the experiences than those who didn't. And many studies have shown that listening to music can lower your blood pressure and your heart rate, which both spike when you're stressed, and even lower stress hormones in your body. I went around to multiple classes and asked how many of them listen to music when they're upset or stressed. In 4th grade, 14 out of 15 people said yes. In 5th grade, 8 out of 9 people said yes. In 6th grade, 8 out of 9 people said yes. And in 7th grade, 9 out of 9 people said yes. As COVID-19 hit, many teens started to get involved with video games. As well as so many other activities, video games do have their flaws. They have so many positive effects. Really, when people think of video games, they think of shooting, killing, and violence. But there are also video games that have great learning and skill opportunities. Video games can help you to develop cognitive skills. Certain games help you with problem solving, concentration, creativity, and teamwork. Social skills are one of the main benefits from playing video games. Many video games allow you to speak with the people in the same game, which gives the benefit of making friends. According to the article, 10 reasons why playing video games is good for your brain. Past research involving children found that those who played more video games were more likely to have good social skills, perform better academically, and to have built better relationships with other students because of the social and collaborative component to some types of games. Therefore, with video games improving social skills, having the ability to be social can also positively affect your health, such as reducing depression, anxiety, and stress. Services. When you look on TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, or Instagram, you see so many people wearing Lululemon. These are the same people who are paying $100 for a pair of black leggings or $75 for a crop tank top. These Lululemon leggings are made of nylon and deep gray. These two materials are so common for leggings. Amazon leggings that are $75 cheaper are made of the same fabric. There are barely any differences in these leggings other than the Lululemon brand. So are people really spending so much money for a pair of leggings just because they're known to be expensive? In 2013, Chip Wilson, the founder and former of Lululemon, body shamed women. He said that if women's thighs were up together or they had a certain body type, they couldn't wear the leggings. Chip Wilson talked with Bloomberg Television Street Smart, and according to the article, you can keep your overpriced overhead Lululemon yoga pants. His words were, if your thighs are up together, meaning if they touch, you might be too plump for Lululemon pants. They might as well have a thigh gap measuring device in their stores. Only if a woman is slim enough to fit the sizing, she can use the pants. And then, actually wear them during yoga practice. As Chip Wilson clearly explained, the problem is not the pant sizing, but in the woman's body. Therefore, nobody paid attention to this. Nobody saw a problem with it. So why are people on social media getting canceled for being offensive, but Lululemon body shaming bigger women is okay? For example, Andrew Tate got canceled for being misogynistic, which means he's against women. He called women lazy, dependent, and also said that women should get blamed for being sexually assaulted. In which neither of these situations are okay. Why did Andrew Tate get so much attention and hate for being sexist, but Lululemon took a certain body type and said they couldn't wear their leggings because of what they were like? Social media. It has become a natural instinct for many teenagers to wake up in the morning and check their recent TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram activity. But waking up to a disappointing message, video, or picture can change your mood for the rest of the day. Cyberbullying is a huge issue in today's society, and social media allows it to be so much easier. So many people hide behind their device and can post, comment, or view without anyone knowing who they are. It's so much easier to talk or say things behind a screen rather than in person. Not to mention, it's so easy to compare yourself to people on the internet. Models with quote-unquote perfect bodies that are most of the time edited. People who look happy but really aren't. People with quote-unquote the perfect nose or perfect lips. They compare themselves to people that they don't know. The same people who could look completely different in person. According to the article, here's how social media affects your mental health. In the past, teens read magazines that contained altered photos of models. Now these images are one thumb scroll away at any given time. Apps that provide the user with airbrushing, teeth whitening, and more filters are easy to find and easier to use. It's not only celebrities who look perfect, it's everyone. Channing Smith, the 16-year-old from Tennessee, took his own life on September 23rd after two classmates posted screenshots of explicit text conversations he had with another male when he got bullied for being bisexual. McKenna Brown, 16 years old, took her own life after a group of girls sent text messages to a bunch of her teammates and friends to try to communicate. Anna Tang got cyberbullied on TikTok. Here are some of the comments that she got on her post. Oh, I'm so glad you came out of your comfort zone. Get back there, please. I was having a good day until I saw this TikTok. You look tired. Go take a permanent nap. You deserve it, queen. Claudia, baby Claudia X, was also cyberbullied, body shamed on TikTok. The comments were, his size don't tell me it's his first time, and OMG cannibalism. TikTok isn't doing anything about this problem. The more consumers they get, or the more comments and posts that are made, allows them to get more money. As the article TikTok revenue and usage statistics state, TikTok has rapidly increased its revenue generation in the past few years. In 2022, it generated $9.4 billion annual revenue. If the companies were to try to fix this problem, less people would be on the app and they would make less money. Therefore, with the services and social media industry being harmful to consumers, the entertainment industry is more helpful, safe, and joyful. Thank you.
And at this point, we will take a minute to confer and to rebut. So to answer that question that was just asked, if there is no rebuttal, you put no points. You don't put anything. Okay, we will start the rebutting. Thank you, teams. So we will start with team one. Do you have someone who would like to rebut?
Social media is also a main source of mental health issues in the online world. Kids stay behind screens and they create fake lives and unrealistic expectations. These kids will then not say anything to these kids being bullied in real life. They will not wait till they get home. They will wait till they get home so they can't get in trouble and no one would know it was them. They will create fake rumors and spread them through the internet, which can cause depression and even suicide.
And we will go to team 3. You have
So social media has a personalized to what you like, and if you get more game ads, that means that you like those types of games. Talk about the price of living and how it has gone up, and workers don't get paid that much. But people that work in the service industry don't get paid that much for it. For example, Amazon pays their workers minimum wage. What gaming console are you talking about? There's no major brand new gaming console costs over $700.
And our last rebuttal, team 2.
Quinn said that social media helps with mental health, but is also a factor of mental health issues such as cyberbullying. Also, apps like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok have many hackers. People who follow you on TikTok have links in their bio, and also a feature that allows them to see who views your profile if you allow it, which lets them know you engage in their profile. Links that are sent to Instagram or Facebook of a video or even just texting them trying to say hello, trying to get you to reply. Queen said that kids might watch inappropriate movies on Netflix, but Netflix viewer base is targeted to more than just kids. So if they have movies or TV shows that are not for little kids, it is not entirely Netflix's fault. Netflix has a mode in their services where you can put kids mode on a child's profile so that kids can only watch shows for their age group. Also, Chester mentioned that video game consoles cost much more nowadays. This is mainly than they used to cost back then, but this is mainly because technology has become much more advanced and companies need to make some sort of profit while selling their products, so they have to make the prices like a little more than they used to be to actually make a profit.
So at this point, we are going to end day 2.
It's funny because
So in order to get out of their slideshow, you'll have to hit escape and then go to your area, okay? Once it loads. All right, welcome back to our final day of debate. Today is going to be a little bit shorter, but it is going to wrap all of our arguments up and it hopefully help you as an audience decide who you believe actually won this debate. We won't have the results for a couple of days because we will have to tally all the scores. I'm going to be collecting all of your score sheets. Do you have any questions for me on that right now? We'll announce it on the intercom when we have the results. No questions? Okay, so at the end of today, at the end of the closing statements, we're going to open up the floor for you to ask them questions. You can ask them questions about the whole process of debate or ask them a little bit more about the topic. That's up to you. So be thinking about some questions that you might want to ask at the end. Okay. All right, so we are going to begin, and as we chose randomly, like with every other order that we went with speakers, we are going to start with Team 3, Justin Reed.
An oligopoly is defined as a market run by a few companies with limited competition. The social media market, however, does not fit this description, as there is a wide range of competition that comes from numerous companies that make up the industry. Social media shares this market with companies of all different sizes. There are social media giants such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, and WeChat, competing to be most popular among consumers. Alongside them, there are even larger range of smaller social media providers. In addition to this, no company rises above all others to dedicate the market. Unlike the entertainment service industry, furthermore, social media is a free monetary cost to those who join. Anyone can enjoy time on social media platforms, stay connected with their friends and family, create appropriate content, even make their own business for it that decently from all of them. This is going to say that social media is not an oligopoly. There are many ways to advertise on social media and find target audience you're trying to reach. For users trying to buy, it's very easy to find the products one's looking for since there are so many people trying to sell on social media. There's a huge market and opportunity for buying and selling. These are some examples. These are some of the varieties of social media networks. These are just some of them, but not all of them. These are some of the bigger companies. For example, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Messenger, which you can see at the top. These are some of the streaming companies, which is most of the popular ones in America. As been seen that there's Netflix and Disney and Prime Video dominate most of the market, and HBO Max, while the rest don't. So on the left, you can see all the see all the services. Yeah, on the left you can see all this. On this you can see the services. And on the right there's Apple and Samsung, which are the two top dominating markets. While there's only two other brands on them, so Lenovo and LG. And there's only another 6%, which is all the other phone companies. Monopolistic competition between a limited number of firms within the same industry is what is given an example on the left. And on the right, staying competition through tactics of explicit collusion, which that is what image is describing. The oligopoly structure of today's services in the entertainment industry is having substantial effects on consumers everywhere. The black dots is representing few providers in the market, with big firms controlling a good option of it. And the blue dots are the consumers having limited choice in providers and are practically forced to pay the price of what companies want. Companies in a limited market can reap profits. There's big oil profits is on the left. And you see the top three there. And most of them are in America, in the top three. And on the right, you can see the world's biggest players in pharma. You see the top three, which is Pfizer, Advil, and Novartis. And those are the top three dominating the market. And market shares. These are the top three streaming platforms, as I said before, which are Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney. they're the most used streaming platforms. On the right, you can see that Sony is 45% of the global market share. Microsoft is 27.3% of the global market share. Nintendo is 27.7%. Companies manufacturing a plain T-shirt for around $1 to $5, and they put their designer logo on it, and they sell for much more. This is an example of that. This is an example of a Gucci shirt. Why isn't it public?
It's not showing them.
Yeah, so it's on mine, but it's not showing on there.
You turn it around, show people. What's the logo on it?
Oh, it's just the Gucci logo.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
This is the first iPhone that was released in 2007, and you can see that has a camera. And 3 years later, the first iPad made it, and it came out, and it was in 2010. And you can see that it doesn't have a camera. This can be shown as Apple not providing all the technology they had. And on the left is like before COVID. It shows a person getting their Amazon quickly in 1 to 2 days. And on the right, after COVID, this shows a person waiting for the Amazon package to arrive after 5 days or so. This is showing a big pharma is ripping off Americans. And on the left, for HIV, it's $6 billion, and all the other countries, or international revenue, is 1.2 billion, and that's for HIV. And as you can see, the American prices are always more expensive than the rest of the world. Employee premiums and deductibles have risen much faster than wages since 2007. It's going to show that inflation has been making the cost of living more. And getting paid in the green is workers' wages, which hasn't been rising as much as it needed with inflation. These are the 12 automotive companies that dominate the market and own other brands. As you can see that GM owns GMC, Chevy, and Chevy. They own and Buick. Ford only owns Ford and Lincoln, I think. These are some of the examples of companies that are dominating the market. All these big companies, might seem that they're all a big market, but mostly they're all owned by other brands. For example, Volkswagen owns a bunch of brands. These are the some of the streaming markets, and most popular places to watch TV. And we see that Disney has a lot of names out there, and Disney also owns all these companies. The FCC has no regulations over OTT streaming services, and they can put whatever they want in the world. For example, and sometimes Netflix might have a TV show in America, or they might not have it in another country. The issue of having an oligopolistic industry. They don't care about making money or making consumers happy. They don't care about making people happy, which are the consumers, and they only care about making money. Compared to the entertainment and services industry, the social media industry looks like a holy grail. The entertainment and service industry lie and cheat over and over again. Then they manipulate the consumers into thinking it's their problem to deal with or blame it on other factors. There are no good excuses as why they raise power or have dedication or decrease product quality. The other industries are too focused on boosting businesses and profit and ignore rivaling their consumers. Social media cannot possibly be labeled as an oligopoly for its open market and low barriers of entry. And many competitors on top of that our industry benefits the consumers users through being most entirely free to use and cheap on advertising. Many people have thought that cyberbullying happens on social media, but it's failed to be mentioned that bullying happens every day and it's frankly unavoidable. It also doesn't just happen over social media. In fact, a ton of cyberbullying happens over gaming. What's the excuse for that? Social media has an option to report and block accounts, along with messages. People being harassed and bullied isn't adjustment. With or without social media, both of them will always exist. The entertainment and service industry are guilty for being oligopolies, and they know it. No one decides to say anything about it, though, because we depend on them so much. Because it really isn't fair to the consumers to be cheated on by providers just because they have the power to do it. I'd be wrong to assume that other industries are not oligopolies. There are harming consumers.
Okay, our next speaker is Deanna Weil.
No, it is. It just takes a second. It'll load. And you can dismiss that anytime. Yeah. No, there you go. It'll dismiss it. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Nice and loud.
as stated earlier in the debate, the entertainment industry does the most by far to give the consumers the benefit. Whether it is by offered services or products, the entertainment industry provides the customer with the most benefit. From your favorite TV shows / movies on streaming services to the music you listen to on a day-to-day basis, to the video games you enjoy at home after a long day of school, and much more. All of those largely enjoyable things are part of the entertainment industry. To start, over the span of the debate, each team has given their view on why they are the least oligopoly. They have brought up strong points about their industry, but now to reiterate some of ours. The entertainment industry gives the consumer a variety of places to watch TV. Although the teams have brought up the fact that enjoying entertainment is a little costly, there is a solid reason for that. For example, take Netflix. Netflix pays between $100 to $250 million for a movie. This amount will range depending on the movie and the type of streaming rights Netflix wants, which is the reason why their subscriptions might be a little high. Okay. So as you can see here, these are the different bundles, I guess, that that Netflix offers. So each one is a different price, and they each offer different things. So for basic, I think that type of bundle is more for a type of person who likes to enjoy like watching Netflix, but doesn't need like all the super high quality because they might not watch it all the time. And then you can get premium if you prefer to watch Netflix a lot and you want like the best quality of everything and like that. So Netflix's income comes from the subscription viewers pay for, which then the money goes into buying new movies. It is like this for each streaming service, although Although these services might be a little costly, it is due to the fact that movies cost so much to obtain. Not to mention, companies, for example Netflix, have to pay for how long they have a movie up on their service. That's why, like, when movies get removed, it's because. Anyways. In addition, the movies and shows and other forms of entertainment that the streaming services provide can have educational benefits to the consumer. TV can act as a motivator for learning life lessons, just like books and other forms of teaching. It can teach people to set goals, learn new skills that can be used in everyday life, and video games can also do this. Here's a thing of positive, like a slide about positive effects of video games. And yeah, so studies show that on average, using academic games in the classroom is associated with a 20 percentile point gain in students' achievement. Physical benefits of video games. Neuroscientists performed a study at Iowa State University that found that surgeons performed better and were more accurate on the operating table when they regularly played video games. And then in middle school, students in Japan who played video games in which characters helped or showed affection for others later engaged in more of these behaviors themselves. Entertainment can teach people about history, languages, customs, and can also provide the platform to raise awareness about issues that might be depicted in movies. Music is also something that can help people in different ways. For example, music therapy, which is the clinical use of music to help with emotions. So music's effect on the brain. So here you can see that listening to music causes the brain to release dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical. And then music has the ability to alter breathing and heart rate, and music can help reduce pain and many other things. Going back to the fact that the entertainment industry gives the consumer so much, it proves that they don't cause an issue with demand, unlike both the social media and service industry. For example, the oil industry has been creating an issue with demand in many ways. A quote from Oil Prices Analysis, the impact on supply and demand states, "The world relies on oil for fuel, energy, plastics, chemicals, clothing, and much more. When oil prices rise and fall, there is generally a corresponding rise and fall in the cost to produce goods and services. When oil prices cost for production and transportation rise, which decreases supply at a given price. If oil prices fall, production and transportation costs fall, so more can be produced at a given price. Demand that increases or decreases is response to the supply fluctuation." This quote proves that oil prices can have a large impact on supply and demand. On this topic, oil is a really big thing in our world because we need it for like transportation and other things like that, and like going on airplanes. But here's a statistic of airlines, and it shows that American Airlines, Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines, and United Airlines each own very large percentages of other airlines, which is what an oligopoly is. So that proves that airline companies are a pretty big oligopoly because they own a whole bunch of businesses. There's also a lot of product demand in social media. Take ads. The companies trying to get their product out there will typically use social media platforms to advertise their product. This in turn gets customers interested in said product to get the consumer to buy it. When many people start to buy the product and it sells out fast, leaving a customer with nothing to buy creates an issue with demand. On the topic of social media, it has become a second nature for teens to wake up in the morning and check their recent TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram activity. But it is more often than never, teens will wake up to a disappointing message, video, or picture that can set their mood for the rest of the day. Cyberbullying is a huge issue in today's society, and social media allows it to be so much easier. So many people can hide behind their devices and comment negative, hurtful, and rude things about people who they don't even know anything about. To conclude, the entertainment industry gives a consumer a variety of choices to choose from when it comes to watching TV or listening to music. By them giving their consumers such a large variety to choose from, it proves that they don't cause an issue with demand. The entertainment industry does the most by far to give the consumer the benefits, whether it's by offering services or products. This all proves that the entertainment industry is the least oligopolical compared to both the other industries. Thank you.
And our next speaker is Benson Alexander. Double click on it.
That's it, it's all the way on the right.
I'm just going in my.
Yeah, go on the suggested. And dismiss that, yeah. That'll take a second. No, Benson, go to the slideshow. Load and stuff.
The services industry is the least oligopolical topic within the three industries: entertainment, social media, and services. There are many consumers and suppliers within these topics. While our topic is profiting the industry and government positively, the others are damaging it with apps such as Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat fully controlling the social media area. Our topic is the most beneficial topic because we provide medication, transportation, food, and others. Not only do we supply food to the public, but we also employ 2.65 million people with grocery stores. With knowing this, we can come to a conclusion that the services industry supplies a large percent of the jobs in the industries. Every business has been accused of overpricing / excessively advertising, but in the end, the main goal for these oligopolies is to stay inside the few firms by buying the other companies and continuing to produce more products to increase the amount of consumers. They also do this to keep other businesses from developing. When the firms inside of an oligopoly continue to attract consumers, it blocks others from developing as they are not able to make any money. Eventually, this leads to their business shutting down, leaving a few firms to continue production and sales while controlling the industry. Every business is part of an oligopoly in the end, even if the business is small. The reason for this is because in the end, every business owns an extremely small percent of the industry one way or another. Often these small businesses don't succeed due to larger firms putting them out of business. Social media advertising makes billions of dollars a year. Just a single ad in the Super Bowl can cost $7 million or more to broadcast, while they can profit more than $500 million in just a 30-second ad. According to Kantar.com, the Super Bowl excessively broadcasted by NBC in 2022 generated $578 million of in-game advertising revenue, growing $143 million over the year, with $32 million in revenue generated during the halftime show just alone. Over the night, there can be more than 30 ads broadcasted, some costing up to even as much as $15 million, depending on what is being shown. For example, in 2013, a 60-second Mercedes ad was released that cost over $15 million to broadcast and ended up making over $100 million in profits. There are plenty of examples of where oligopolies control the entertainment industry. But one of the best examples has to be Disney. The reason for this is because Disney creates such a wide variety of entertainment options on the internet and in person. Disney supplies an extremely large amount of the entertainment to the public. According to Alpha.com, as of 2021, Disney owned 52% of the entertainment industry, meaning that even if other parts of the entertainment industry wanted to stop something, Disney was still in full control over them. Disney has also been making remarks about the Don't Say Gay law, stating that they think classrooms in Florida should legally be allowed to say gay and teach what it means to be gay in sex education. According to NEA.org, the Don't Say Gay law states that the purpose is to prohibit classrooms discussions about sexual orientation or gender identity in certain grade levels or in specific manner. When Disney spoke on this topic, they made it evident that they were not following this law. Although many people disagreed with what Disney said about this, they control themselves and partially the Florida government, making them an oligopoly. The service industry is the least harmful to all of its consumers in many ways. I believe this statement because many things inside of our industry, such as transportation, is a necessity. Without transportation, we cannot drive to our jobs or travel really anywhere. Although our industry has contributed to society in a positive way, video games such as Fortnite have not. They are able to target a specific audience, in this case, young children, and bait them into purchasing products from their company. In this way, the entertainment industry is extremely harmful to its consumers and could even be considered a scam. On the other hand, although many people may argue that food in the service industry is becoming overpriced, much like products being sold on Fortnite, this is being dealt with through competition between different companies. This is not the only example of industries harming their consumers. I know this because the social media and entertainment industries have created loopholes to avoid being accountable for their consumers. An example of this is price fixing. Price fixing allows the suppliers to set above average prices and pressure their consumers into purchasing from their business. In conclusion, not only is there competition between stores in the services industry, but there is competition between airlines, electric companies, grocery chains, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and more. Knowing this, I fully believe that the service industry is the best for our government and overall well-being of our country, while the social media and entertainment industries are not. Thank you.
At this time, I'm actually going to grab the camera and I'm going to turn it on to our audience, who has been amazing. So we have had a wonderful group of children. Excuse me. Okay. So we are going to debaters. Can we please give some applause to the audience for being so good? You have all been polite, respectful, attentive, and you've been primarily scoring the entire time. Fourth grade is learning. Yep. But it has been a great experience because of you as well. Thomas, do you have a question? No? Does anyone have a question for the debaters? It can be anything about 7th grade. You'll be doing this next year. Do you have any questions about the process, about, yes, Alexi?
How, like, in terms of, like,
when is like a good time to start? So, like you're never feeling like in a rush.
Start as soon as she gives you the topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get your information down, learn what the topic is.
Do a lot of research. Okay. And then we get like well not like without the research and getting like a base template ready. Like would it be good to like kind of like it'd be kind of like how's the way to put this? If you have just getting the frame ready.
Getting a framework? Is that what you're saying?
Getting ready before putting in.
So can anyone help him with that? What is the framework for your debate speech? What is it? It's the argument. It's what you learn in writing class on how to write an argument. Okay. Other questions? I have a question for you. Did you only debate your one question? Anyone want to address that? Go for it.
Well, we worked on it as a group, we helped each other, so it wasn't just our questions. We had to work and collaborate as a group.
Okay, how many of you gave information to someone else to help them with their, okay. How many of you researched the other side and the question that you did, but from the other perspective? Okay. All right. Are there any other questions from the audience? Does anyone want to make a comment about how you think things went? Ashton, would you like to? Okay. All right. So I think if there are no other questions, thank you for coming. Next year, 7th grade, in March, you will find out what your topic is. And 8th grade, I hope that this serves you well when you go to high school. And thank you. And the 2023 debate is concluded.